So you mentioned like you worked on Kafka
Yeah.
or like there's already developed component or uh, like so I will go through I mean few questions from like my questions will be something like this. Core Java, String, Kafka, and RESTful and services. And you mentioned about Cassandra database, right?
Yeah.
And few things from like data structures. You are from computer science only, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, simple one, but not, don't worry about it. Okay.
Sure.
So, when it comes to core Java, right, you worked on Java 8, right?
Yeah.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Um, so, basically, my question here is like, what are the concepts you know about, like, or you worked on one by dot features?
Yeah, so basically on Java 8 I have worked on functional interfaces, Lambda expressions, and this optional basically, and Stream API majorly.
Okay, so Stream API means on like database Stream APIs or like normal Stream APIs. You have multiple APIs, right? So you worked on maybe collection Stream APIs,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So um, so I have a question for you. Like, suppose I have a legacy system. Okay. Assume that I'm giving one real case scenario here. So you know, right, RBI, right?
Yeah.
So, and there are multiple banks like SBI or IDFC or HDFC or anyone. So, recently, like RBI came up with one feature. So, like, assume that that can be like recently, like they reduced the base points and everything, right? So, they want to implement new feature like providing interest rates or functionality. Okay. So assume that RBI is a kind of interface or a kind of API which they developed and build it as a package in jar. Okay. So basically, there are certain rules, right? Like I mean, SBI can have their own implementation or something like that. But assume that that is a common. I mean, RBI want to implement common across the board. Like it is common. It is fixed across all the banks. So I mentioned this point also, right? That is a legacy system, and they want to add new features. So how do you implement that? Like, assume that that is a calculator interface. I mean, calculate method or something like that.
So you have actually a jar from which you have to take certain implementations
Yeah,
and then.
assume that it is the interface. Okay, that is the interface only. So I want to, I want, RBI wants to implement some method like or functionality they want to add new feature. So how do we do that?
Sorry, your question is actually not very much clear to me. What I understood was that there is an interface that RBI had, and there is some method into it.
Yes.
And based on your requirement, do you want to override that method? Is it?
I mentioned this point also, right? That is a common functionality across the board.
Okay. So,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
so,
yeah,
yeah,
uh,
please go ahead.
how do you implement that?
Yeah, so
Like,
suppose we have one interface that is provided by RBI, and for common functionality, we can use default, methods into the interface, which we directly get as part of our implementation, which we don't want to actually. That is a common part, so we define it into the interface itself with Java 8. And if you talk about overriding certain functionalities, so suppose RBI has some method set of rules, so they can have it abstract, and based on different bank implementation like SBI, and based on this Standard Chartered or HDFC Bank, they can override based on their implementation. They can actually provide the implementation of abstract method, and for common functionality we can use the default methods. Like that, I think we will be able to achieve this functionality.
okay, I think your answer is correct only because that is a default method you can implement so that implementer cannot how to like I mean the implementation right. That is correct one. But I have one more question. Files right? We can read files and the process in Java right? We have files for processing. You can read from physical location and can I share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So because I'm not sure you are on mobile. Let me know once you're able to see.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's
So
visible.
assume that I have opened like a notepad, right? So here I have entries like Srinivas and some age or something like 29 or 30 something like that, okay? And your name is some X or something, okay? So some person name and age, okay, like 29 or I don't know, like I'm giving. So assume that this first one is ID, this is name, and this is age, okay. So I have like GBs of data, like I have millions of records in this file. This is a huge file, okay.
Okay.
So assume that it has more than a million or billion records. So I want to process that file in Java, and I want to sort. Assume
Okay.
that this is not sorted. Okay, so something like this, 10, some person P1, one P2, and something like that, 40 or something. I want to sort this based upon ID. This is this file, and I want to save that into physical location. Can you,
Yeah. So for this,
don't you see, think in a like performance perspective. I mean, everyone knows like reading file and processing is fine, but think in different ways.
okay. I mean, you can either have some file handlers for reading this data and then parsing it, or like we can also do it using Apache POE basically, so to get the entire data and then parse it. So for sorting purpose, you will be actually fetching the IDs, and we can I think use comparator for this, or comparable interface for sorting
Yeah,
these IDs.
that, that is fine. I'm talking about a huge file. Thinking that
Okay.
way.
Okay. Mm.
Assume that I mean, Aadhaar details are in this file. Our whole Indian Aadhaar data. It's around 120 or 130 crores, right? So that is jumbled and I want to sort and I want to save that into physical location.
So, can we I think can we use buffer reader for reading this file basically? Or
Your wish, but come up with a nice solution. I don't want you to write whole code, but give me like how do you solve this problem?
okay, shall I write the code?
Yeah, you have a clear, I mean, intelligence something like that?
Uh,
No, no need to write code. Just give me like how do you do that? No
yes.
need to write code.
Okay, so we can actually create an instance of buffer reader and pass the instance of basically file input stream into it, and then we can actually from the buffer reader instance we can do a br.read line, and through that will read, suppose for the first iteration it will read this first line 10 p1 and
Hmm.
10, and then we can actually take this entire line and then split it across here, like you have spaces right in between, so I can split across.
You can spell. That go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah, so you can split
correct.
by space, and then you will get like you can have an integer, suppose integer number integer id equals to for the first, so split will give you an array of string basically.
Yeah, I got it. I got it. You are going to split each and every line using space, and you are creating an object for that, like person or something. Yeah, that is fine. Uh, but I'm talking about huge data.
So, wouldn't like buffer reader be a good option
So
for?
it will run, yeah, it will do it for line by line, that is fine. Yeah, you're correct, that is fine. But do you want to read whole billions of records in 1 minute? I mean, in same, I mean, basically, how do you hold that data and sort?
Okay,
For
so
sorting purpose, you need to have multiple values, right? Like one result one, and I mean, the first line and second line. Then only you can compare, right? You cannot compare line by line, right? So you are going to compare some first in number of lines. Then only there is possible, right? Sorting.
yeah, yeah.
So you are holding a person into a list, and you are going to start. But what is the limit of that? What is the size of your JVM? I mean, like memory.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
100 crores means it is huge, right? Can it
Yeah.
load 100 crores of lines in one list?
No. Uh, okay.
Do you know like a sorting and merging?
Sorry, please come again.
Merge sort. You know merge sort?
Yes,
How it
yes.
works?
Yeah, so
How
merge
it
sort,
works?
yeah, merge sort basically uses divide and conquer approach. So first of all, it will,
Hmm.
divide it and then, into smaller chunks,
Sort.
and then it will sort, and while sorting, it will actually merge all those.
Okay. So can you implement same thing here? Divide that file into multiple parts, merge a
Okay.
single temporary files, and merge that to
Yeah, yeah,
large
yeah.
file.
Yeah, maybe
Is
we
it
can
possible?
do that.
Okay. That's fine. Mm, okay. Do you have any idea about multi-threading? Any anything?
Yeah, actually, I honestly speaking never got a chance to work on multi-threading, but
Okay.
yeah, I have a basic idea about it.
Okay. Uh, that's fine. So I think you have only 5 years of experience, right? Maybe you never got a chance to work on that. That's fine.
Mm.
Next question is like, I'm coming to Spring Boot. So what is the version you have used like in Spring Boot?
Yeah, we are using 2.3 version as of now.
2.3, not okay, it's only 2.4 got released.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So you're deploying on which environment? Cloud or obviously?
No, actually, we are deploying on Docker environment here.
Docker.
Yeah,
Docker itself.
yeah.
Uh, Docker is for like managing images and everything, right?
Yeah, yeah. So basically, there are Docker containers into which you can have your images up and running, which can actually, within a network, they can actually, communicate with each other. So we do it for our testing and,
Can you
testing purposes.
can you tell me about the deployment lifecycle, like from development to the production environment, how it goes to production?
Yeah, so basically, we have like initially, as soon as you make some changes, a PR gets raised, and in the Jenkins build pipeline, we have multiple jobs actually running onto it. Like we run JUnits, we run SonarQube for static analysis and coverage part. Once that is done, we actually push some images to Docker, basically Docker Hub, and once those images are pushed, you can take it up on any of the machine and start running them and testing them. So this is for our testing, dev and test purpose. And if you talk about production, so that is actually done by DevOps team, so they are actually deploying it on Google Cloud for that particular purpose.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
okay, you told me like you are deploying on,
yeah,
so
for our,
you
yeah,
are deploying on cloud platform, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. One more thing is, we are pushing the jar jar file to Docker Hub. So is that a private or cloud? I mean public.
That is private. That is actually configured privately by Cisco for our
Okay.
particular projects basically.
Okay. You know about Docker file?
Yes.
Can you give me like how it, I mean the structure of Docker file?
Uh, okay. You want me to share with you the structure of Docker file, is it?
No, just no. Just let discuss. I mean,
Okay.
what are the arguments in the Docker file?
Yeah, so
How
we
it
we
works?
actually have a Docker Compose file into which we have like first of all there is a tag with the service name, and inside that we have image tag. So I suppose I have 10 services. So I will be listing all those services with their names, and along with that inside that basically there will be a list of things like image. So we have the image tag where we provide the image that has to be fetched from the Docker Hub repository. And apart from that, we provide restart as well. So suppose it is on failure, so you want to actually restart on failure, you can provide restart on failure. You can provide certain other tags like that. Apart from this, you can provide environment, like suppose in my application.properties there is a key value pair that I actually want to override. Suppose, for example, I have configured into my application.properties that Spring Framework only has this info level logs. And while being on Docker environment, actually being a developer, I want all the logs. Suppose, for example, there is some issue and I want to debug, so I want to actually override it to debug logs. So I can provide that key value pairs over here in the environment tag, where you can actually override those particular properties that are there in application.properties. Apart from this, you can provide the logging related information as well. So if suppose you
Okay.
have like Kibana you have configured
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I have one question here. So you have configured you are adding dependent services like 10 services. So while building at some point, just the services got failed. So again it restart, right, the build. So from where it will start, from start point or from how it works.
yeah. So
So
if
assume that in a Docker file you have added 10 services. I mean services means Docker images. So while building right build that image, so it downloaded all the five images, and after sixth iteration, downloading that service it got failed. So how it works in that case?
yeah, so it actually, whenever you do like you have certain images on your system. So as soon as you do a Docker Compose up, it actually starts fetching those images, and after all the images are fetched, it starts those basically. So if suppose your sixth image got failed, so next time when you will do a Docker Compose up, those five images it will check, okay, it already exists. It is not going to download those previous images. It is basically going to actually try to fetch that sixth image which actually failed.
Okay. Yeah. Um, the next question is from you have any idea about transactional management like Hibernate?
I actually haven't worked on Hibernate. I have worked on JPA basically. That
Yeah,
is
JPA
quite
only in
similar.
JPA.
Yeah.
Okay, inside of the JPA you have transitional annotations, right? You can add, right?
Yes,
Have you ever
yes.
added or no?
Actually, we are not
So,
doing transaction based things. We are actually using, this optimistic locking for our purpose. But yeah, I have an idea about transaction as well.
okay, that is fine. Uh, that's fine. So, I'm going to RESTful endpoints, right? In Spring Boot, REST controller and everything, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, what are the methods you have used, request methods?
Yes, I've used get, put,
Super.
post, delete, mainly these four only.
Okay, so in which case you will use the put and post?
Yeah, so in cases that you want to actually suppose create an entity, so in those entry, so in those cases we use put post, and in cases you want to actually modify it, suppose for example, just to give you an example, suppose I have some kind of company related database, and there are different kind of employees inside the employee table. So suppose a new employee comes in, so I will create a post request, so that there is some post request which uniquely kind of generates a employee id, and saves the entire entry to the database. However, if suppose tomorrow that employee has a change in his certain attributes, like address, name, etc, etc, so I will actually use post, oh sorry, put, so that I already have an employee id associated with him, I just need to modify his details. So in that case I'm going to use put.
Okay. Uh, so assume that I have like a authentication module, or just I want to log like a method I mean request got entered into that method and it's coming out of that method. So how do you track that? Instead of using logging methods, just I want to track like I mean method one got called and method got one has done it task or something like that. You're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it some so this is public, okay. Public and it is returning some other response, okay. Response
Okay.
density to X method and suppose I want to track that method it's got call now and it is done with it task. So instead of doing logging or mechanism logging into or something like that, just I want to track this one at application level. How do you do that?
Okay, so you want to just track if this method got called or not, is it? So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay, so for this, can we use AOP in this case? Like, I can create a point cut over this particular method, so that whenever it gets called, I can have that, AOP method getting called, so that I'll get to know, okay, this method was actually called.
Yeah, that is correct. And so using IOP, so you can like track all these things, right?
Yeah.
And that is fine. So you know about Cassandra database, right?
Yes.
So what is the difference between normal Cassandra and I mean relational databases like Oracle or RDBMS?
Yeah, so basically Cassandra is NoSQL DB, and these are actually, relational databases are actually SQL DBs. So the major difference between them is that these SQL DBs actually have structured kind of data, and with NoSQL we have unstructured kind of data. So, and also with SQL
But
DB.
using Oracle also I can create structural, I mean non-SQL queries, right? Like JSON object or document.
Okay, is it actually?
It is available. Yeah, now you can tell me different. Oracle can support okay non-relational thing also.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
I
so
mean document model.
okay. Okay, so I think okay. Apart from this, I think Cassandra is more scalable apart as considered to RDBMS, because we have like multiple, inside the cluster we have multiple, this master and slave kind of configuration that is running over there. So it
Using using Oracle using Oracle also you can configure master.
okay, okay. Fine. So, I think in that case, both of them will be providing high availability
No,
definitely.
still Cassandra is one way
Because Cassandra has
more.
multiple, masters configured. Is that the reason that if
Yeah,
suppose
how it
one,
works? How it works like so you mentioned about scalability, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how it works.
So inside the Cassandra cluster, basically, we have like multiple, master Cassandra nodes that are running. So as soon as suppose one master goes down, the other master takes up its place, and they are actually continuously replicating amongst themselves. So as soon as one goes down, in almost no delay or no time, the second one actually becomes the master, and you can actually get the data out of it. So even if one is down, it is ensuring that you get high availability without any without any time being consumed actually in the process.
Okay, that is somewhat correct, but there is one more advantage. Consistent hashing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
just go through that about that, like Cassandra will open and what is the distributed thing, like suppose you have data from A to Z, right? So based upon nodes, it is called as node, okay? So node will contain A to C data and C to D, something like that. So you can check that on that feature, okay?
Sure.
I have a question, like this is something like a design question. If you can do that, then that is fine. Otherwise, just let me know so that we can
Sure.
go for next question. Okay. Uh, Assume that I have a table X, some table one. So it has like millions of records, but it is nearing its capacity. Like in near future, it is going to be like full with memory. So how do you resolve this?
Okay.
This
So
small question only.
yeah,
This
yeah.
is you can think of like related to previous question. Just think and just now I mentioned, right, dividing data between nodes like A to Z will contain in one node, something like that. You can design in such a way. That is fine.
Okay.
Okay. And I think that's fine. One more question is, let me open this. Yeah, Kafka. So how do you configure? I mean, you have your own Kafka cluster, or like there is a common across enterprise level?
Yeah, so we have one single Kafka cluster onto which we are actually using that only to create topics for all our different applications basically.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So that is already developed component and multiple teams will use the same cluster. Just you will have your own topic and from that topic you are going to read or publish on that topic.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah,
Correct? Mm, yeah, I'm going to ask one question regarding the data structure. Okay.
okay.
I don't know how I can draw that. Uh, what concepts you know about data structures? And,
Yeah.
like, do you know any data structure concepts? You
Yes.
know trace? You know trace?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. How do you traverse and trace?
Yeah, so we can actually traverse a particular tree using either depth first or breadth first. So in case of depth first, we actually traverse from root to leaf node, and then again
You mean
once.
trace depth first or breadth first? Okay, and one more is there, right?
Okay.
You are from CS only, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Computer science. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I'm not able to recall the third one, honestly
Yeah, that
speaking.
is a level order traversing, okay?
Okay,
So I will traverse level by level like this.
okay, okay.
Can do that, right? How do you traverse that?
Yeah, so so Okay, you mean level by level, so I think it will be first traversing the route and then it will be coming to the next level to traverse actually from
Yeah,
left to right
yeah,
all the elements.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and likewise this it will actually reach to the lowest I mean level and
So
then
correct.
traverse all of them to from left
Yes.
to right
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah. Answer.
Yes.
You're answering that, right?
Sorry, please come again.
But yeah, I was going to answer that question. Like, I mean, how do you traverse in level order? How do you do that?
You are talking about in level order, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so in level order, like we have multiple levels. So first of
Yeah,
all,
yeah. I just that is fine. But how do you go to next level from one level to another level?
yeah, using the next, we can actually go from one level to another level.
Next, you have next in tree. No.
Like we have, like for example, we have a node, right, which has some kind of basically you can say we have some kind of inside the tree. Basically, we have a like mm, kind of a next and previous. I'm not exactly sure. Basically we
Okay.
have a root and then we do a like actually next and previous we have it. I'm saying like we have a right and left, basically dot right and dot left.
Okay. So how do you go to next level using that?
Yeah, so suppose I'm on the route, right, and I want to actually go to the next level of so tree will be like this. So I can do a this node dot left, so that I will actually land to the left of that particular node, basically. And we also have level into it, so we can actually increment the level as well.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, once you like think we're done. Um, just I mean, I will let you know. Like,
Sure.
yeah. Thank you.
Sure, thank you.